Now going over to the Cultural Report podcast of Rachel Maddow angry and has a rant over Joy Reid being fired from MSNBC. Who would have thunk it? Now this comes to us thanks to Benny Johnson on X. He says, quote, "Here's a nice little laugh for you on this wonderful evening. Rachel Maddow goes on a cringy 4-minute rant over Joy Reid being fired from MSNBC. Little does she know she's next." Which, Mark Cuban, I mean, if you're going to make a comparison of who Rachel Maddow looks like, come on, folks. That is on point. That has to be Rachel Knowles' like doppelganger or mother-in-law or mother. There's a stark contrast. There's a contrast between Michael Knowles and Rachel Maddow. But without too much further ado, again, perhaps she'll impress us with this brilliant articulation of why they should have kept Joy Reid at MSNBC. Maybe she's going to bring up some statistics like Joy Reid brought in millions of dollars. The advertisers and the people loved her. Maybe probably not, but let's hear what she has to say.
Hour all the other nights except for Mondays. So that's a big change. An even bigger programming change is at 7 p.m. Eastern, where Joy Reid's show, The Readout, ended tonight. And Joy is not taking a different job in the network. She is leaving the network altogether. And that is very, very, very hard to take. I am 51 years old. I have been gainfully employed since I was 12.
Really?
And I have had so many different kinds of jobs, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. But in all of the jobs I have had, in all of the years I have been alive, there is no colleague for whom I have had more affection and more respect than Joy Reid.
Why?
I love everything about her. I have learned so much from her. I have so much more to learn from her. I do not want to lose her as a colleague here at MSNBC. And personally, I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call, and I understand that, but that's what I think.
Rolling your eyes.
I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend. And that feels worse than bad.
Is race the only thing they focus on? Oh, of course it is. They're leftist.
No matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible, and right. I do not defend it.
They're just losing the company money because they sucked?
But there's just one other piece of it that you should know.
Oh, okay.
From your side of the TV screen, you will mostly see changes in terms of who's in the anchor chair. And actually, everybody who's going to be in anchor chairs from here on out are great colleagues and great at what they do. And you are not going to be disappointed in who's on our air and what you're going to be seeing.
Oh, it can be a lower bar.
But one thing you cannot necessarily see is that the people who get our shows on the air, they're really being put through the ringer. Dozens of producers and staffers, including some who are among the most experienced and most talented and most specialist producers in the building, are facing being laid off.
Oh, no.
They're being invited to reapply for new jobs. That has never happened at this scale in this way before when it comes to programming changes, presumably because it's not the right way to treat people, and it's inefficient, and it's unnecessary. And it kind of drops the bottom out of whether or not people feel like this is a good place to work. And so we don't generally do things that way. Maybe all of our folks, including most of the people who are getting this very show on the air right now, maybe they will all get new jobs here. And I hope they do. But in the meantime, being put in this kind of limbo, the anxiety and the discombobulation is off the charts at a time when this job already is extra stressful and difficult.
What?
It is not news for me to tell you that
that's got to be one of the easiest jobs on the planet. You have someone else write your material for you. You have someone else choose your outfit for you. You have someone else do your alleged makeup, and haircut. Stylist, what do you call it, cosmetologist? No. Whoever it is should be fired. She looks abhorrent, obviously. But yeah, her job's so hard. Okay.
Press and freedom of the press are under attack in a way that is really...
No, it's not. It's called Your Show Sucks. That's why people aren't tuning into MSNBC. People aren't buying lies anymore. That's why you have less viewers. Therefore, you have less advertiser dollars. I mean, this is pretty simple. Well, with anyone with a modicum of intelligence, it's pretty simple concept to understand. Supply and demand. There's less demand for your product.
It's a big deal for our country. It's very visceral for us here. I know that the business of the press is not an easy thing, and I know that no job is forever. But I think I'm safe in saying for all of us anchors who you know through the TV, please know that what pains us the most is not what happens to us. It is what happens to our coworkers on whom we depend and who you don't necessarily know, but we respect and love them and depend on them. And did I mention we respect them? This is a difficult time in the news business, but it does not need to be this difficult.
But you made it that way by making a subpar product. You consistently lied to the American public. People finally woke up and they decided they're not going to tune in. That's entirely your fault. That's going to say that's your producer's fault. That's your fault. I mean, it's quite literally self-inflicted.
We welcome new voices to this place and some familiar voices to new hours. It's going to be great, honestly, and we want to grow and succeed and reach more people than ever and be resilient and stay here forever. I also believe, and I bet you believe, that the way to get there is by treating people well. Finding good people, good colleagues, doing good work with them, and then having their back. That we could do a lot better on. A lot better. I'll be right back.
I mean, if she really had her colleague back, she could have threatened to quit if they also fired. And I can't help but think she'll probably be fired next, because I did a fun poll on the YouTube, and granted, small sample size, about 50 people responded, but I asked folks, do you know anyone who watched Joy Reid authentically, like you tuned in because you like her? 85% of people said no, they did not. While the remaining said, oh yeah, we know someone who actually does watch her because they like her, which 15% still seems too high. But nevertheless, this went pretty well. Got about 1.4 million views as well as 49,000 likes. One of the first comments coming from Based Electrician saying, quote, I've been employed since I was 12, and there's no colleague I have more affection or respect for than Joy Reid. Where the hell did this woman work? Getting 218 likes, which, I mean, if you include like odd jobs or neighborhood jobs, I mean, I don't think she necessarily did, but I mean, I know folks, including myself, who did. I mean, you do yard work for the neighbors. I mean, usually, what was it? One of the most painful but rewarding summer projects was digging a ditch for a neighbor along their whole property. Back in my day, no fancy electronical or diesel machines. Used a shovel. Got blisters, built character. It was like $20 a day. Yeah, it felt like I was a millionaire. It was amazing. Back when a stick of Starburst was 75 cents with the tax included, so you said a quarter for the arcade and a gumball. Oh, rental at the Blockbuster is $5 and a Nintendo 64 cartridge. No sales tax or no income tax for me. Those are the days. Gas was under $1. Movies were all black and white. Okay, I'm not that old, but nevertheless, that got 218 likes. Planet of Memes, A+, they finally did responded meme form. It's been a couple weeks almost at this point. Planet Memes says twins, and there's a picture of Rachel Maddow, looking slightly creepier than usual, which is saying something. And then Mark Cuban with his nerd glasses, and it says, quote, corporate needs to find a difference between these two pictures. And it's the Office Pam saying they're the same picture, getting 191 likes, which, again, there are hip, cool glasses out there. Those are not them, Mark Cuban. I don't know what you're going for in this picture. Also hilarious how Mark Cuban was basically, was it a stalking horse or whore for Kamala Harris? Just completely a Kamala Harris supporter and, retweeting her ideals. Then as soon as Kamala lost, Mark Cuban went and tried to delete all those. Which, yeah. Got 191 likes for that. Scrolling down more and more. Let's see. Jay Bo says, you're the next one to get canned. And it's the Grim Reaper meme where he's going door to door. And it looks at all the firings to Chris Wallace, Lester Holt, Joy Reid, and Rachel Maddow. And the Grim Reaper is called Americans that had enough propaganda shoved down their throats. Getting 209 likes. Oh, let's make it 210. We also have, let's see here. Kimberly Lee saying, quote, raise your hand if you think Rachel Maddow is full of shit. She's a professional liar with zero credibility. You're next on the hit list. Wacko getting 918 likes. Community notes, true. Well, they didn't actually put it there, but it is true. Alaska, really, the whole state of Alaska hates Joy Reid. I wouldn't be surprised. Not many people like her. One of the most ironic names in history. Her name is Joy. I've never once seen a video of her where she is, in fact, full of joy. And I debate if she can read at all. But nevertheless, Alaska says, quote, she doesn't seem to understand that if your network is failing, people will lose jobs. Hopefully she and Jen Psaki are the ones to be out next. There's a screenshot of Joy Reid looking slightly more unattractive than usual, which is saying something. And it says, Black History Month, Joy Reid, you're fired. Getting 328 likes. Chillin' Effect says, quote, they're all clowns at this point. No one believes their BS anymore. There's an AI picture of a bunch of clowns working at computers and, got generic news names behind them. Let's see here. Flea on the Flea says, another facts. As Joy Reid looking like a cow says, there's no more joy at work. Breaking a bovine virus is on the loose, getting 20 likes. Real Vinny James says, quote, so Rachel Maddow loves race baiting racist black women with a chip on her shoulder the size of Texas and a penchant for appropriating the blonde hair color of the very white people she clearly despises. Got it? Total mental case. Getting 332 likes. Christopher with a K says, quote, she knows she's next. She's setting up for her departure to look like she's being fired for taking a stand against a black woman. Virtue signaling to set her up for a lawsuit against NBC. Getting 46 likes. Nick Stank Memes has the meme from the Indiana Jones, the good ones, not the one where they're bastardized by that gal later. Yeah, thank God it looks like Disney will finally can her ass. Yeah, it's Kathleen Kennedy destroyed it. But nevertheless, the OG Indiana Jones are still works of art, and it's the meme where he's replacing the gold idol, but he's replacing, Elon Musk looking at Rachel Maddow, she being the idol, and replacing it with Alex Jones, getting 56 likes. Also have I Love American News saying the story says the evolution of Rachel Maddow, and has a bunch of pictures of her. Wow, 1990 she actually, she had lady hair, short shoulder length hair. It actually looks pretty good. Then 1994, she has hair like through 1994 to now she just has hair like a young boy, and dresses like a man. And the last picture is Mark Cuban, and that got 456 likes. I also have Wu Hang Lee saying the resemblance is amazing. It's a picture of Rachel Maddow juxtapositioned with a picture of Frankenstein. Well, Frankenstein's a monster. Frankenstein's a doctor. I forgot that. A lot of people do. One more. Elmer Zink says, she says it's a bad time in the news business. Neither Rachel nor Joy Reid were in the news of business. They were not journalists. They were biased opinions show host. Getting 180 likes. And there's an AI generated picture of her and Joy Reid working at McDonald's, getting 104 likes from Jason Curry, which would be a big step for that. Actually, would be a big improvement to them. That would actually be them contributing to society and providing something of value. A first for both of them, I would argue. And again, with their brand and their track record, unlike Tucker Carlson, I don't know anyone who would want to support them as an independent journalist if they were to try to start their own YouTube channel or their own Patreon or anything like that. Yeah, so we'll see what the future holds for them. I mean, Democrat Party will probably give them money to go somewhere, but let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so you can click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.